Hello and welcome to a round of Commander mode. In fact, this is my first ever round as Commander after I finally worked out how you manage to get into Commander mode. I had tried by jumping into the Commander slot through the squad screen in game, but that doesn't seem to work. It would never connect. And then I discovered that when you're using the server browser you can specify Commander, and then you can join servers from the server list as a commander rather than a player. So you've got a bunch of abilities which are default ones. The scans, the EMP UAV, which blocks off your opposing commander's view. You've got squad orders, where you can give a squad leader an order. You can designate somebody who's on a kill streak on the opposition as a high value target, or you can give an evacuation order. So if you see something coming in, you can tell people to get out of its way. So on the right hand side you've got all the squads on your team. On the left hand side you've got a view of whatever squad leader you've selected. You have, or a view of a capture point. You have the bar that shows what points you've got, and then you've got the green bar which shows how far you've progressed along a line of abilities, which are called squad assets. So the first one with the star is promote squad. The second one is drop a supply crate, and that will resupply ammo to anybody who's close to it, and it will also let them change kit. The third one, which is like the lightning bolt, is rapid deploy, and that reduces a squad's deploy time. And the last one is vehicle drop, which either drops a jet ski or a quad bike. So I used that a couple of times thinking it's going to drop an APC like you had in Battlefield 3, but it doesn't. It was only when I looked up things afterwards that I realised that it's only a quad bike. So the other abilities you have are infantry scan, vehicle scan, a cruise missile strike, or an AC-130 gunship. So those depend on which bases you hold at the time. So on this map, C point gets you a cruise missile strike, but we never actually hold C at any one point, so I never get to use it. And then you get this three-way bar when you right click on a point. And then you just simply move up and down. So that option I just collected was the UAV. The one above it is the EMP UAV, which blocks off the commander's view, and you get points if somebody kills a target that you've spotted or a target that you've blocked. And you also get points for people resupplying from your crates, or points for kills that the gunship or the cruise missiles do. And you get points just for being the commander if you do a good job and nobody in the squads objects to what you're doing. So at this point I hadn't realised you could zoom in the map, which was a bit inconvenient. And as you can see, I've got UAVs going over C as I'm trying to help them out. But like I say, we never really capture C at all. Now that bar that's coming up from the bottom, that is the vehicle scan. I've just selected off the right hand bar, and what that does, as it goes up the map, any vehicles it goes over, it spots. There's also an infantry scan which comes in left to right that does the same thing. So the top up order on the bar that looks like a clock, that's the evac, and then the bottom ones are the squad orders. So the triangle is basically an order you give to a squad leader to say go and attack that point. So it's quite a bit more hectic than I assumed it would be. You've got the cooldown bars in the top left that show you how long you've got before you can use an ability, or how long an ability has got left to run. There I've just kicked up the fast redeploy. Some of the commander abilities, especially the squad ones, rely on you having squads that are working together and staying together. So with the map not being zoomed in, it gets a bit confusing, and I was constantly losing things behind the little squad markers and couldn't work out why, and then realised you can use the scroll wheel to scroll in about halfway through this map, so things will get clearer when I scroll in and zoom a bit. So there you can see that the opponent has launched a missile strike onto that zone there. You can see a little cruise missile coming in, something I never get to play with in this round. So the main job is keeping the UAVs up so you can spot. But because we're really struggling to get C, I end up trying to keep D and E covered, either hidden or with a UAV on it. So if we're holding it, I tend to try and block out, or if we're attacking somewhere, I like to put the UAV over it. So there's a supply ribbon for people using the supply crate that I've dropped off. And all my abilities are on cooldown. I've just dropped a vehicle in, thinking it was going to be an APC and that they could use it, but it actually drops in a quad bike and nobody ever seems to use them. The one thing I would say is there should be some way for the commanders to put some influence on the battlefield without having to hold the one point that gives you it. So it seems like on every map there's one point that either gives you a cruise missile strike or a C-130 gunship, and that's the only way you can affect the actual battle, other than spotting. Your primary job is basically just to kick off the spots as soon as they become available. Because the squad abilities are okay, you can promote a squad up its chain, so if it's on the offense perks, you can boost it 1 point up. And the redeploy is reasonable, giving them the ability to redeploy quicker if they're capturing a point. But the most useful one seems to be the supply drop. There's a couple of times in this round that I supply drop onto the roof at sea, where we've got some snipers and engineers up there. You've got no way of resupplying. So we actually get close to capturing C, and then they get it back, and that's the closest I think we get in the whole round to capturing C. I do make the mistake of continuing to drop things in, and that's where I realise you can zoom in. So now we can see what's going on a bit easier. You can see I'm blocking the view from B to C and scanning C. Try and help out the guys who I realise are actually on the roof and not fighting on the point as such. So I move the scans over to the outlying points and just keep C hidden from view. losing A, so I'll drop in a UAV to spot all the troops at A. Help that one guy out that's going for A by scanning everything around him. And drop some supplies in at D. Keep scanning A, blocking the view of the enemy commander of C. And then you can see from the little status update that somebody's used a resupply. So I know there's bad guys at D, so keep that scanned for them. Now we've got D back, I can do vehicle scans again, and infantry scans from E. Or is it the other way around? So at this point we're not doing too badly, we're keeping them hemmed in at C. And we've got one group over there at E, so I'll give them some help with scans and an EMP and drop them some goodies. So even though the ammo crate is a squad perk, it's not restricted to that squad. Anyone on your team can use it. So you see the bars of the infantry and vehicle scans. And we've got bad guys at D. We've got a UAV overhead as well. So I'll keep that flying. And drop supplies onto the roof while blocking the view. So it is quite frustrating that you can see there's bad guys at D and E, but there's nothing you can do about it. Instead, literally all you can do is resupply troops that are there. And if you've got an organised squad, like these guys here, Squad B, try and hold and take a point, you can help them out. Oh, they are getting a cruise missile strike in on them. I'll try and keep them hidden from view at sea. And keep the guys at E informed of what's coming in on them. As you can see, the commander mode is quite hectic, having to keep an eye on things. In some ways it kind of reminds me of playing MMOs, because there's a lot of cooldown watching and abilities. It's just that you're sitting there not really able to do very much. Yeah, it is a point of, okay, you've got a vehicle scan, why would you not kick it off as soon as it's available? Or why would you not kick off an infantry scan as soon as it's available? Because they're global. And UAVs, you're just going to use them as soon as the cooldown is off. But on this map, because we never get C, or never get to make any offensive decisions at all, so I'm literally just sitting there spotting things and dropping in supplies. So while on a PC, commander mode is okay, but you could be having a lot more fun sorry, playing the game. I think if you are on a tablet where you can't actually play, then commander mode is quite useful, because you do get experience for it. Okay, you're not going to get experience on a gun or a specific type, class, but you are going to get experience points towards levelling up. So I can't see any guys on the roof, but I have dropped supplies in just in case there are any there. But that's about all I'm going to do now for C. It's far more effective to try and keep hold of D and E, because that's how you're going to win. Yeah, we could try get C, lose D and E, and end up with 2 points, 1 contested, and them having 2 points. Or we can have 4 points and just bleed their tickets. So their ticket count's going down quite rapidly now. Let's see if we can help that one sniper out who's over there with his spawn beacon. So we're getting towards the end of the round now. Commander mode is okay. I can see it being fun on a tablet, but it really isn't as tactical as they say it is. And okay, spotting is a big deal for the ground troops, but yeah, it's all right. It's not great. I don't know how much difference it actually made. You can spot all the enemy troops you want, but if people aren't looking at the mini-map, it doesn't make a lot of difference. But there you go. I got quite a lot of points, but it's not as much fun as actually playing the game. Thanks for watching. I hope this has showed you a little bit about the Commander mode and what you can do. And I'll probably do a couple of other videos on Commander mode to show you the C-130 and the cruise missile strikes in action, and see if I learn anything more about it. Bye for now.